Hi, my name is Dan Burkholder, and I'm a photographer, and right now I'm having a lot of fun with the iPhone, capturing and stylizing the images in the palm of my hand. And if you're willing to wait a couple months, my book on iPhone artistry will be coming out. But we're going to actually show you an example here with an image I took last night right behind a Chinese restaurant, one I discovered, on how I start with a raw capture, which was a 4-second exposure, and walk the image through with different contrast and texturizing effects. This was shot with the iPhone actually through the windshield of the car with a little Gorilla Mobile tripod. And this was a 4-second exposure. Rather mundane shot of this building at the end of a parking lot as we finished a meal at a Chinese restaurant here in Catskill. So step by step, and I'll just kind of with my finger swipe across here. For one thing, I use an app. I wasn't interested in that detail up in those trees. So I went into an app that let me select that sky area and darken it down. And then another app, I created an image which is just kind of like a noisy, almost like a sky effect. It's just called a noise filter. It does this random kind of nebulous stuff. And then I added some color to that with another app. And then wanted to bring that in, so you notice I did not overlay that over the building. I used an app that let me selectively apply that sky, that noise effect, to everything but the terrestrial part of the image. And then step by step, increasing contrast, playing with the contrast. So one of the good things about the iPhone is every time you save it, it's like a save as on our computer. You're never overwriting your original image, so that's a good thing. You don't have to worry about boogering up your original file. Of course, the downside to that is that you have all these different iterations of the file that you're going to have to clear off. And in fact, day before yesterday, I was getting a message. I couldn't take any more pictures because I had like 2,500 images plus these 250 or 280 apps I have on my phone. So here, then step by step, these are minor differences, little things that if you zoomed in, you'd see. Just playing with the contrast and the detail. And then I used this goofy effect called Burkholder, which really made it look pretty horrible, but I knew I wanted to use just a little bit of that. So after applying that Burkholder effect to the entire image, then I layered that in there, added some more texture, and then applied it. We'll scoot over here. You're going to see me use just part of that in conjunction with another app called Toon Paint, which really does this kind of Van Gogh effect on the image. So I took those two versions, Burkholder and the Toon Paint, and started to layer back in here. And if we zoom in here, you'd start to see some of that Toon Paint effect, that Van Gogh kind of feel up in the sky, but not appearing. There's still a very good clean detail over that building that was a 4-second exposure. So then step by step, minor controls. You see the difference here, that right edge. I ended up cropping this out anyway, but that bright right edge. Notice the brightness there and see how I darken that down. So I used an app called Filter Storm to let me burn that corner in. So, and then it's just a matter of additional tonal control, doing some what's called tone mapping to bring out some of the texture. And I finally didn't know what to do about that little piece of building, so finally there I just cropped that out and just changed the aspect ratio slightly. So the image kind of starts and works to completion. And then finally, I use an app called Artistry Sketch, which will also give you like a sketching component. And I layered a little bit of that into it as a final step. So I'm not saying this image is finished yet. That's the last version I have. I did most of this last night lying in bed, actually, which is another part of the joy. There's no special, like I said, there's no place you have to go to edit your images. And I can work on this without disturbing Jill because it doesn't produce much light, whereas the iPad is a much bigger thing glowing there if I work on that at night. And if we zoom in on that, you can see we still have nice detail with the chimney and everything on the building, but we have this beautiful kind of weird textural effect happening up in the sky. And this may see life as a platinum over gold leaf print when it finally comes to final fruition.